We are going to be making our own model of all of the moon phases today. So you will need to make sure you have a paper and a pencil to follow along and create your own. So if you don't have that, pause the video and come back when you have a paper and a pencil. So if you have a paper and a pencil, we'll begin. So we're going to start over on this left side and we are going to draw our sun here so we know what direction our sunlight is coming from. And since it's a scientific model, I want to make sure to label so that everyone can know what exactly I'm drawing. So then here over in the middle, I am going to draw my Earth and label my Earth. Now I'm going to draw the 8 moon phases that will go around and revolve around the Earth. So I'm going to start here with our new moon that's in between the sun and the Earth. And then I'm going to go and get the one on the opposite side of the Earth. I'm going to go across and get the one here and across here. Now I just need to go and fill in all of the blanks with another in between moon. So now if we remember, our sunlight is always coming from the sun and hits this front part of the moon that faces the sun. So I'm going to go around and split each of my moons in half because that's the only part of the moon that gets sunlight. So now I'm going to go ahead and shade those in to show that this part of the moon is in darkness. So it's there, but it's in its own shadow, so we can never see that part of the moon. Now, the next thing we want to do is we're going to go through and we're going to draw a circle cutting through all of those moons. So I'm going to start here at our new moon, and it's going to cut right along that half mark, and then it just goes on through, cutting that quarter moon in half, coming to our gibbous moon, cutting that full moon right in half, and then it just keeps going on around and connected. Now we can only see the inner circle. So if it's not inside that circle, we can't see it. Oh, I have somehow erased. Let me get that back there. Okay, so that inner circle equals what we see from Earth. So if it's on the outer part, even if it's lit up, that means that we cannot see it. So looking here, we have our new moon, and from Earth, that means that all of this is black and we cannot see that shadow part. Then we have our waxing crescent moon, and we can see that little pie shape here. Then we have our first quarter moon, which again, we can just see this piece right here. So even though it will look like a half, we see 1 out of 4 quarters. And then here we have our waxing, because it's still getting larger, our waxing gibbous moon, where we see almost just that full circle, that semicircle there. We can see all of this part here. Then we have our full moon, where we can see the entire lit up part of the moon. And then we start to get smaller. So we have our waning gibbous, where we see that semicircle again, getting smaller. Then we come to the last quarter moon, where we can just see that quarter of the moon again. And then finally, we have our last one, which is the waning crescent. And oh, I cut mine off, but we can only just see that little piece of the pie. So make sure you have drawn yours. So to repeat, start with your sun, draw your Earth, then draw each of your moons going around, then shade in the part that cannot see the sunlight, and cut them all in half in a circle. And the inner part of the circle is what we can see from Earth. So if I were to show you that here, so we can see this part, which is dark. We can see this part here, this semicircle here. This is where we get that whole half of it, which is the full moon, that waning gibbous, our last quarter, and that tiny piece of the pie there. So the inside is what we are able to see from Earth. So now that you are finished with that, you are going to follow the directions in the slideshow to use your Chromebook and take a picture, or a phone or other device you have. So take a picture and insert it into your slideshow to turn in for your assignment.